Exciting football game, obviously, and credit our football team's toughness and our attitude and our energy with this one. I thought that, we played through the smoke, however you want to say it, played through adversity, and we got up 21-zip, and things were going pretty much our way. Obviously, the turnovers had a big deal with this game, but we also were able to run the football very effectively. I want to congratulate Connor Cook on winning his 28th game as a Michigan State quarterback, which is an all-time record. History of this football program, which has been here a long, long time. Quarterbacks are here to win. They're not here for statistics. They're here to win. He's done an outstanding job. He ran the ball effectively today, made some big throws. But when you look at the football game, I think it's going all our way until we fumble the punt, and then things start to go a little south for us. I think the true character of a football team exists when you can take something wherever the tide's starting to swing one way in the fourth quarter, and you were able to stop it and come out with a win. So the attitude on the sideline was very positive, and just, look, we're going to get it done type thing. The fourth down holding call is another thing that sort of sets you back and gets you on your heels, but we come back 4 downs again the very next series and get us out of the game. I thought defensively, with the exception of probably 2 deep balls that were right on the money, and then which were contested, and then the one run where we didn't have a defensive end get in the gap, so we were gap deficient and splits us. Other than that, I thought we played pretty well. So very, very proud of our football team, and a lot of energy on the sideline, and I was impressed with our crowd. And I know it got a little rainy out there, but it got loud. So I want to thank them for hanging too. Questions?
Mark, there are some reports via social media you addressed on the radio Dennis's status. If you did, could you tell us, please?
Yeah, Dennis Finley is out for the season. He broke his leg. 2 breaks, tib fib. It's in surgery right now, so our thoughts and our prayers with Dennis right now at this time. But, that's another thing I guess you got to add. You're talking about a football game, and, you lose a young man like that. Obviously, it's tough for him, tough for the football team, but really tough for him and his family. But at the same time, I think Coach Stain's done a tremendous job with those guys. Jack Allen kicks out to left tackle. David Beadle goes in and plays left guard. He's a redshirt freshman, first time he's really playing. Brian Allen shifts to center. Benny McGowan plays guard. He breaks his helmet. And, then Brandon Clemens is in there for him. And then at the right tackle, Donovan Clark played there, and Machado played for him a little bit while he played at guard. So we played a bunch of players out there on the offensive line in different places, and we're able to run the football pretty effectively for 270. So that was a big positive here in this football game. But I don't think we had any sacks. But that's the situation on Dennis.
Mark, when you're the number 2 team in the country, you play Purdue, which has only won 1 conference game the last couple of years, and the margin of victory isn't that big. You know what a lot of the response is going to be. Is that fair, or do you, just move on from it and you guys have won?
No, we win the football game. That's the bottom line. If you look at the history of this football game, it's been very, very close. And that's the nature of it. I think Coach Hazel and his staff had a great plan coming in. They made plays. I thought they played hard. They played physical football. And, we won the football game. But this game has always been an extremely contested game. You can go back all the way back to I was here. I've been here 15 years. And as an assistant, and then now 9 years as a head coach. And the game has always been tight. And we're fortunate to win this one, but and I credit our football team's toughness, mental toughness.
Mark, it was a strong day for the running game overall, but LJ, a couple of bruising touchdown runs in the first half, run 8.1 yards a carry. Second half, Madre with a few big carries. You've talked about how all year you're going to ride the hot back. Did either of them kind of emerge today as who you might go with for next week as the quote-unquote hot back?
I think both guys are very good players, and I would say Gerald Holmes is as well. It's just hard to get 3 guys going. But both those guys were running well today. There were some things that they didn't do well, quite honestly, that you'd like to see them do a little better, and there were some things that they did extremely well. But the one thing that they did, and when you talk about a hot back, they broke tackles. And that's what a hot back does. So I think both those guys did that, and we're pretty much status quo. I don't see giving the ball to a guy 35 times at this point. But they both, I think, one had 17 rushes and the other one had, 18. So pretty balanced.
Mark, is there a concern for the lack of scoring in the second halves of games?
Not if you win at the end. There's not. As I said, I think we left some points off the board. Missed a field goal when we probably could have driven it in. Same thing on the last one when we made the field goal. But these things happen. I mean, everybody's got players, man. Everybody's got to play and a plan, and then also they played hard too. So credit them.
Coach, after the Nebraska game last year, you thanked the fans who stayed, but you were noticeably upset about those who left. There were so many students who left at halftime of this game. Your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, I was impressed with the people. It was rainy, it was wet, it was cold, it was windy. It was a great crowd to start the game. It was 21-0 at halftime. I know how people are, get a little fickle, but the game comes back and is extremely close, and it was extremely loud out there on the field. That fourth quarter, it got very, very loud. And my thoughts are, I appreciate the people to come. We got a lot of Spartan fans out there. If they weren't there, I'm sure they were watching on TV and, staying warm. I almost wanted to join them at one point.
Mark, you over here to your left, I guess.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Being number 2 in the country, you deal with expectations, so you win a game 24-21, and there's a lot of talk about what went wrong or what happened in the second half. Is that something you're learning to deal with? Does it bother you at all, and do you think it affects your team at all?
No, I think that what we do is we get ready to play a football game, and I don't really care. The bottom line is, do you win or do you lose? As I said before, I've been on a football team before that would win by about 6 points or 4 points on the last play of the game. All they did was win 14 games. So the bottom line is just win. And everybody's going to give you you're the number 2 team in the nation, you're going to get everybody's best shot. Everybody's best shot. They're going to come in, and they're going to play as hard as they can possibly play. And, things happen. Things happen. I can't predict that we're going to drop the ball on the punt. I can't predict that. What I can say is afterwards I can tell him it's okay, line up, you got to go again, handle adversity. That's what I can do. But I can't predict that those things will happen. It's 21-0 at that point. We're at midfield. The game, there's 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. I think that we're on track. We're on track to do what we need to do. But things change. Things change, like the weather around here.
Mark, is Jack Allen the guy you would look to keep out there? Is that sort of a short-term fix? And then did that change? Did you talk at all at halftime or at any point about when he went down about being more conservative on offense because of that injury?
No, we really didn't talk about that. Again, we were up 21-0, and the weather was iffy. But we had worked Jack out at left tackle, so it wasn't like he moved there abruptly. There was a plan in place that if something happened to Dennis, always a plan. If something happened to this guy or that guy, who's going? So that was the plan, and that's what we did. And, I was watching him best I could, the framework, everything, and I'm sure he played extremely well.
Mark, last week at the podium, Connor Cook said one of the things he liked about the CMU game is this team in the first 3 had struggled to finish, and he thought that was a plus last week. The way the second half went, do you think this team struggled to finish? And if so, are you surprised about that 5 games in that 4 of them maybe you did?
No, because things happen. As I said, we dropped the punt, and the punt snapped. So they hit a big one on us. So things happen out on the football field. But in my mind, we finished because the tide definitely turned. All of a sudden, it's 24-21. We drive it a little bit. They stop us. They got the ball. We have a penalty. They get a first down on third down. Fourth down, then we get a penalty. We got to stop them 4 again. So in my mind, we sort of weathered the storm. No pun intended.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about Darion Harrison, the game he played, as opposed to last year where things were a little rough for him, and for him to come back and respond like he did this year in this game against Purdue?
Yeah, Darion had a good game, a very good game, I felt. They sort of nickel and dime us with what we call dink route a little bit. He pushes the ball forward. They hit that early. They hit that in the fourth quarter. But I thought he was very, very solid, tackled well. And, tough for me to say, but I didn't think he was out of position. I thought he was in position pretty much the entire day. And that's our star linebacker, that outside backer in any defense is really a guy that's got to be able to adjust to all the different formations. There's a lot of things that he has to do. He's put in a lot of run-pass conflicts constantly just by the nature of the position he's in. And so it's a very difficult position to play from a mental standpoint in terms of trying to be right all the time. That's just the nature of every outside backer position in college football.
Coach, I saw Connor Cook pull the ball down a little bit today. That's something you've talked about, as he said, many times. Can you just talk about the importance of that and what does that mean for Connor moving forward?
Well, when your quarterback becomes a threat to run the football, your offense takes on a whole other dynamic. And, whether it's scrambling to run it or called runs, which we did as well. And now you have to defend that, or now you have to have people in position if he scrambles. And I just think it shows his versatility even further. And we've been saying he can do this and do this all the time, and he's got the wheels to do it. And a number of times today you saw how important that was when he did do it. And improvise. He created. I thought he created today. As he started running, he dished the ball the one time on a third down, and then he ran for it a couple times. So I thought he created with his legs today, and that's something that we've been talking about a lot, and that he has the ability to do.
Sorry, Coach, you got time for two more.
Mark, you talked about how long you've been here. With that in mind, can you put into context what Connor Cook having the most wins in MSU program history for a quarterback really means with all the quarterbacks that have been here and gone to the pros and everything else?
Well, first of all, he surpasses Kirk Cousins, who was here as well. So to me, in our time, so in my mind, it's great vindication for the quarterback, but it also is a program thing for our entire program. What it means is that this program is won at an unparalleled level for a number of years. Both those guys have been starting quarterback for 3 years. And for them both to do that says a lot about the other people that were playing with him. And that's sort of that's something sort of that's an individual accomplishment, but it's also a group accomplishment because there's a lot of people involved in that, in him winning those football games. It's the defense, it's the offense, it's the people surrounding him, it's the special teams. So a lot of wins, though.
Mark, just before halftime when Dennis went down, there was a lot of emotional reaction on behalf of the players on the field, I would imagine, on the sideline too. And then it's halftime and you're up 21-0 and you had an injury like that. Is there a challenge there as a coaching staff to keep the guys spruced up, or was it just
No, we were fine in the locker room. We were fine. We made the adjustments, and our players were very good as well. So, it was next man up. It was let's go. Dennis is going to be okay. He's going to be all right. But you don't like to see what happened, especially the severity of the injury out on the field.
And one of the guys who played more today was Brandon Clemens, who hasn't been on the field much, has had roles in other seasons. It's been a while for him to get on the field. What has he had to do to get on the field, and how did you think he did today?
Well, he's backup guard, but, we swing people around because Donovan plays there sometimes. But his opportunity to get on the field, I thought it was good. I think the more people you get on the field, the more engaged your players become. Overall, the stronger football team you become. In the end, Matt Sokol and Dylan Shimura playing today as tight ends strengthens our football team. In the end, Monty Medeiros making that big catch early strengthens our football team. So I can go on and on about different players, but we've got depth on this team. There is no excuse. If we lose somebody, there is no excuse. I don't care if we lose our quarterback. There's no excuse. We keep marching. We're fine.